All right, so everyone is talking about it right now. Team Canada. World Juniors. Not exactly the ending anyone was hoping for.
Yeah, not at all.
So much hype going into this tournament, and it just kind of
it
fizzled and imploded. Yeah, and I think it's safe to say that Canadian hockey fans are not happy.
No, they're not. I mean, you can understand it though, right? World Juniors, it's such a huge deal
Oh, absolutely.
for Canadians. It's not just a tournament. I mean, you're showcasing these young stars who are going to be the future of the NHL.
Yeah.
And it's like this battle for national pride on the world stage.
Totally. And when we don't come out on top, well, let's just say the words catastrophic and unthinkable. Those were thrown around a lot at Hockey Canada's press conference after the tournament.
Yeah, they weren't mincing words, were they? I think that just kind of shows the pressure these guys are under.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't just a disappointing loss.
Yeah.
This is about a legacy, a national identity.
Right. And during the press conference, Scott Salmon, one of the senior VPs at Hockey Canada, he talked about the need for some big changes. Said they were going to review the whole selection process, the team building strategies, everything.
Oh.
And he even straight up said that the way the team was built, just flawed.
Interesting. So do you think this means they're finally going to take a long, hard look in the mirror and make some real changes?
It's hard to say. I mean, it's easy to talk about shaking things up when you're basically in the hot seat, right?
Oh, yeah.
What really matters is what those changes actually end up being. Like a lot of analysts were saying that this year's team just didn't have that shut-down defenseman.
Right.
You know, the kind of player who could just shut down those faster, more skilled guys on the other teams. If Hockey Canada doesn't address that kind of tactical need, are they really making meaningful changes?
I think that's the key question here. You know, it can't just be about rearranging the deck chairs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then there was Catherine Henderson's response to all the fans who, shelled out a ton of money, booked trips, expecting to see Canada go all the way.
Yeah.
She brought up the year that Canada finished 8th, trying to say that this isn't like some unprecedented thing.
Yeah, but that's kind of a tricky comparison, don't you think?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, yeah, Canada's had some off years in the past.
Right.
But every tournament's different. It has its own context. This year, it felt like the team's struggles were more than just a few bad games. It was like a fundamental mismatch in style and preparation.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
So I think that trying to just brush this off by saying, oh, we finished 8th before, is not going to cut it with fans who want real explanations and a clear plan for the future.
Totally. And on top of that, none of the executives are stepping down. Like they're calling this a catastrophe.
Yeah.
But nobody's taking responsibility.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if they really are serious about this whole change and accountability thing.
Right. I mean, where does the buck stop with Hockey Canada? Is it all on the players, or does management need to share some of the blame for putting together a team that clearly underperformed?
Yeah.
This whole thing about not holding leadership accountable for what happens on the ice, it's not just a hockey problem. You see it in other sports too. And it brings up a bigger question for fans. Who's really responsible when things go wrong? And how do we make sure that real systemic changes actually happen?
Big questions for sure. And one of the journalists at the press conference even said that he doesn't think any of this is going to be enough to stop all the criticism that's being directed at Hockey Canada.
He's probably right. I mean, this whole thing goes way beyond just a couple bad games.
Yeah.
This is tapping into a much larger national conversation about the state of Canadian hockey, the pressure to win, the accountability of the people in charge. It's a lot.
It really is.
Yeah.
So what does this all mean for you, the Canadian hockey fan listening to this right now? Well, Hockey Canada says they see the problem. They say they're going to make changes.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a lot of skepticism out there. A lot of people are thinking, we'll believe it when we see it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? This whole response from Hockey Canada, it leaves us with more questions than answers. Would you be satisfied with what you heard? Or are you, like many Canadians, wondering if this is really a turning point or just another chapter in a story of unfulfilled potential? This deep dive, it's just scratching the surface. But it shows just how complex it is to manage a program like Team Canada.
Definitely.
The stakes are high, the emotions are even higher. It's something to think about.
It is a lot to think about.
Yeah.
And on that note, we'll leave it there for today. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Thanks for having me.
And until next time, keep your stick on the ice.
Yeah, absolutely.